Today I'm going to show you how to stop getting blocked. So first things first, we got to talk about this because I hear this all the time and it's a big lie. Underhand layups are not easier to block on their own right. They can be, but so can overhand layups. Can you block that, Jay?
Yes, sir.
Can you block that super easily?
Yes, I can.
It's all context, positioning, and situation. So let's talk back to basics with dribbling. Whoa, this is how to stop getting blocks. Let's talk dribbling and I'll show you what I mean. So if Jason's playing really tight defense on me, I don't want to dribble right here. Jason can steal that. I want to at least get this hand here. I maybe want to turn my body. Maybe I'll all the way turn my body. Jason can't get to the basketball, right? Defender, body, basketball. Whether that's the arm being part of my body or my actual body being between him. Same thing on our layups. So underhand layup is great if I got him behind me. Underhand layup is not so great if Jason's coming to meet me to the rim and trying to get in front of me. Underhand layup is also not so great if Jason's waiting for me right in front. He's gonna beat that shot every time into the third row, and I'm gonna cry like a little baby, embarrass myself like I did in the intro. We don't want that. So a couple things I can keep in mind is if I'm going to do any layup, I have this off arm active. I can put my body between him, but I can also think about my ball positioning and the type of layup I'm taking. So like I said, Jason's behind me, underhand layup is great. Notice the off arm. But if Jason's more in front of me and he drops way in front of me, maybe I want to get into that floater to get it over his hand. If Jason's waiting for me at the rim or he's moving with me, I can get it out to the side. Do more of that side arm layup. You can do kind of that hook release, side spin, whole bunch of things you can do. Another big thing that'll help you not get blocked anymore. Don't think about, I'm gonna come here and we're just gonna have a race to the rim or I'm gonna meet him at the rim. And now it's kind of about what am I gonna do right as I get to the rim. I can start getting my layup off easier all the way back here by how I approach this. So we always want to think with back here, but also by the rim, whoever initiates is in control. So if I initiate a movement, he has to respect that, right? Or not respect it, but I'm making him make a read, right? So if I initiate, I'm in charge now because I know what I'm doing first. Same thing with contact. So I can use either of these back here or by the rim. I'll talk more detail in a second, but contact is great. So now I'm in a position where I've got options. I can hold him back here, go here. If Jason decides to jump back in front of me, I can come out to the side. See how it opens a lot of different options? But if I'm here, now I don't really have that contact early, so it's harder for me to make a read. The other thing I gain from that is if I'm making the contact back here, now I can see here, feel him with my arm here, so I don't have to worry about like looking back to see where he is, worrying about him. I can feel and see what my options are and open up more options. So now I just have help defense to worry about and possibly teammates that are getting open. Other things we want to talk about, active off arm back here and here. Get it here, right? Be careful with it though. I've taught some players like use that off arm, but they kind of get a little over aggressive with it and you could get called for an offensive foul. So I don't want to be pushing into Jason like that. I've seen a lot of players where they're trying to be strong in their layups where they'll be like this and they'll be, you might get away with that in some leagues, it depends. But you want to think about this more as holding space, not creating space. If you're going to create space, you want to do that a little more with the legs. And even then you want to kind of think about moving that arm in just a little as you're doing that. So we're here. Boom. See how my arm comes in? A lot of that contact down by the rim is done more with the feet. So I'm here, boom, I'm getting into his space, right? Because if I got his, and here's another tip, if I can get his hips turning. So here now I got his hips turning, now I can get away with getting a little more bump, right? Because he's kind of behind me. Russ could see that as him running into me because he didn't slow down when I slowed down. But if I do that when he's got his hips more in front of me and he's more facing me, oh, that's offensive every time. Here, down there, doesn't matter. So if I can get his hips at least sideways or all the way turned, opens up a lot of options. Next, footwork. This will really help you stop getting blocked. So Jason knows more often than not if I'm coming here, I'm probably gonna go left, right, and he knows exactly where to anticipate that shot. So if I have other options in my bag, number one, it's gonna open those shots up because they're different shots, but two, he doesn't know if I'm gonna do those other options, so now maybe that opens back up my 1-2 layup because he's anticipating something else. So here's one option, the one-step layup. I literally am taking one step and jumping. So usually that's gonna be ball side foot, boom. So the opposite foot's coming up. He's expecting me back there. I get the shot up before that point. Another would be the goofy foot. So it's gonna end the same, but I'm gonna pick up on the right foot, left foot. So I'm taking 2 steps, so now I'm also got the opposite foot up. That can help give some protection. So let's run through that, Jay. So we're here, boom. See how that leg creates a little shield, a little barrier from him. Another really, really important one is your different ways of jumping off 2 feet. There's 3 different ways. Number 1, hopping onto both feet, and now I've got a lot of options, right? So I can use that to cut short into that floater and stop back before he thinks I'm going to, but I could also use that to get over to the side here. But the other 2 foot patterns we want to think about is the 1-2. So it's like a 1-2 step, but both feet are going to be on the ground. So it's 1, 2, but they're both planted. And what that does is opens a lot of options. So I want to be able to do that going to the left with the right left pattern and the left right. So what you'll notice the big difference with those is right left, I'm facing this way. Ball's a little more exposed there, but I got options to come here. I can come here. Anytime I'm jumping off 2 feet too, there's more options for me to jump different directions. When I'm jumping off a 1, it's kind of hard to change angles. And if I take the left right, it's more protected to take some contact, maybe create contact, which is another great tip to help prevent getting blocked. But all this is making me unpredictable for my timing, the kind of shots I can get off, where I move. And those 1-2s into the 2 foot jump are great because not only can I use them to stop short, but I can also use them to cover more ground and still get to the rim. Ja Morant is great at that, by the way, and Kyrie. So going back to what I said we were going to get to in a little bit with not always creating contact, but creating motion. So you can also be evasive with our layups. So just like with our handles, I can make him think I'm coming this way so I can come back this way. We can do that with our layups a couple different ways. We can do that with things like Euro steps, so he thinks I'm coming here, boom, and then I come this way. But we can also be evasive with the basketball. So one thing I did was right there, coming over the top. He thinks I'm gonna bring the ball down the middle, and I come over the top. I can think about being evasive by coming down low and getting my layups off. And then I can also be evasive by showing here, making him jump early and come to the other side. And we can also do that by bringing it here and bringing it out to the side. And one more even like kind of street ball thing we were just talking about that you could do is on your 2 steps, you can do things to like make him think he can get to the ball, pass fakes. There's a lot of little things you can do during those 2 steps. But getting creative with that, you know, getting those shots off, just keeps them off guard as far as what you're gonna do, and it makes you more unpredictable. More unpredictable means harder to guard. Next, a couple things that will really help you. People don't think about this kind of stuff much. We have to work on our ability to finish layups by covering ground in the air. So a lot of times with layups, we're thinking, I'm gonna go right here and I'm gonna go right up for the layup. And on the way up, I'm gonna lay up. But I can throw his timing off by thinking about covering more ground on layups and incorporating, changing the timing. So 2 things there, but they tie in a lot. Number 1, I can finish more on the way up and get into it, but make it. That's a big key. But that can throw his timing off, but also think about finishing on the way down from your layups to throw his timing off because he thinks I'm gonna finish at the peak. But as that's happening, you notice since I'm jumping, especially off 1 or the 1-2 where I'm moving forward, I'm covering ground. That's opening different spaces. Jason's anticipating a block right here, but I'm gonna keep floating and come past him and finish here, right? I'm getting to a new space, which brings me to one other thing that'll help you not get blocked as much. And that's also thinking about getting into different spaces with your 2 steps. So we kind of talked about that a little with the Euro step, but we can also think about going 1, 2, and jumping out to the side. Or that could be if I'm coming more like baseline. Jason thinks I'm gonna finish here, and I come to the other side. One other really big thing that'll help you stop getting blocked. This is so important. You have to have the ability to use both hands on both sides. So that means left hand on left side and right hand on right side, because there's gonna be times where that makes sense. Here's an example where that would make a lot of sense. Jason starts getting behind me. He starts getting to this hip, getting that inside hand for the layup. Makes sense because it's a little further from him, or even going all the way for the reverse would make sense. But having that ability to finish with my body in different positions relative to the hoop, this way, like it's all relative to the defense. A lot of people would say this layup, oh, that's way too fancy, that's too flashy. And yeah, this might be easier, but there's gonna be times where I'm moving this way and that just makes more sense, right? If I'm coming across the rim and he's here, this typical layup doesn't make sense. That more jelly layup that people consider fancy makes a lot of sense because it's more protected. So we always got to think about our body positioning relative to the defender like we talked about near the beginning. That's why you need the ability to finish with your body in all positions, different spaces around the hoop, and with both hands around the hoop. One thing to show here too is you got to work on your ability with those hands, different positions to finish. This hand sideways, overhand, underhand, and even getting here, I'm gonna have to finish more with that inside hand turn, here with the outside hand turn, right? And that's both hands, both sides of the hoop. The more of those options we have, the better we can finish. But if you want to know 3 things that keeps almost all players from scoring around the rim as much as they could, check out the free video that's pinned in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.